Welcome to sewing class. I'm Annette Julie, and today we're working on preparing our muslin swatches for darning and patching holes. So first off, you're going to need some muslin, and you're going to want to mark and snip, rip, and press your swatches. These swatches here, you're going to need 4 of them. These are 5 inches wide by 10 inches long. Here's our lengthwise grain, okay? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5-inch width by 10-inch length. That's what you're going to do your projects on, and then you're going to need some swatches. So over here we have a nickel, and that's going to be about how big we're going to cut our hole in one of our swatches. So you can prepare a swatch 3 inches by 3 inches. Fold and press the seam allowance back 1/2 inch, top and bottom and both sides, and then it's going to be 2 by 2 after you press it. Prepare another swatch that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Press those sides and top and bottoms back 1/2 inch for the seam allowance, and that will be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Make sure that you have a nickel, a small swatch, sitting inside of a larger swatch. A little bit of wiggle room around there. This is going to be for our double patch. And then you also need another patch. And this starts out being 2 1/2 inches wide by 5 inches on the lengthwise grain. When you press back the seam allowance on both sides in the length, then you end up with 1 1/2 by 4 inches. So those are all the swatches that you're going to want to prepare. You're going to need that needle and thread and wax and those snippers. You're going to need your marking tools. Obviously that nickel to go ahead and prepare that. And when you prepare your muslin swatches, you always want to have a ripped edge. Okay, here's our selvage edge over here, self edge, and here's the ripped edge. We can see all the fray of the threads coming off on our crosswise grain. Here being the selvage edge, this is our lengthwise grain. The same on the other side. We still got selvage edge. We still have a ripped edge. Down here you can see I was preparing some swatches. Okay, so let's go ahead and prepare some swatches right now. You're always going to start with that top edge. Mine's already ripped, but I'm going to make an example of ripping it. Okay, so I'm going to snip down about a good 1/2 inch, and I'm going to snip in well past my selvage edge. So I went in a full inch, and I'm going to rip quickly to the other side. Let's see if it gets past that. It got right to it. Go ahead and grab it again. Rip quickly. Okay, this you can use to test your fabric and stitches. Now you have started with a nice ripped edge. And to prepare your first ones, you're going to go over that selvage edge, and we're not going to use it. And then we were doing 5 inches on the width, and we're doing 10 inches on our length, and you would need 4. So I'm going to go ahead and rip right after I snip through. Okay, so I'm snipping. I'm going to rip all the way across. Try to rip quickly. There's our 10 inches on the lengthwise grain. I can go ahead and draw my arrows. Shows my lengthwise grain. Then once I've established that that's the grain there, I'm going to snip down, and I'm going to rip off the selvage edge, and I'm going to rip myself some swatches. Ripping off selvage edge, and then ripping my other swatches. You're also going to need to rip and prepare the swatches for the patches. And we'll check that this is blocked. Looking good. And continue preparing your other swatches. Then you're going to want to prepare some of the patches. Okay, can start with that 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And you prepare your other patches the exact same way. And this is Annette Jolie. I look forward to seeing you in my next video.